can prepare if you think of stuff. So this is Bradley Will. This is my guy. He has literally the best birthday that a person could have. Or what birthday?
It's true.
What is that?
August 30th.
Oh wow! Oh, that's sort of crazy because my birthday is August 30th too. Like, that's why
it's a special day.
It's a very special day. So, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. And so he's the CEO of Riseable. Riseable is I don't know the market. So what is Riseable?
Just say an advertising agency. We do a lot with lead generation, creating landing pages, offers, all for digital marketing. So if you're spending advertising dollars on Facebook or Instagram or those different platforms, we help convert attention into leads or sales.
Okay, so people come to you if they need leads, and then you help them figure out ways to do that. Is that purely from this is a different clicker, and this is Michael got an advanced clicker, and I'm not really used to it. I'm used to the basic clicker.
Technology.
So I got that. Yeah. So where does a person come to you? Do they already have a plan and then they come to you, or do they come with you? You help them develop a plan. Like where do you start with a company?
Yeah, typically a business, most businesses are not looking to buy leads. So we are usually helping them see the benefit of investing in lead generation for the long-term growth. Usually they have some kind of sales pain point. I want to generate more sales, grow our business. And, we then ask them, what does your email list look like? Do you have leads, currently? And, because a lot of cold prospects, it's a lot different than warm, like getting referrals, and that business is usually pretty easy to close. But when you're dealing with cold and new attention, they take more touch points. Maybe you need like 7 touch points with a prospect for them to trust your organization, unless they're ready to go, right? Unless they have a problem and they're needing to pay for that solution. But that's about 3% of the market. It's a very small competitive pool. And so we try to move the goalpost and move it to where, if people are researching and kind of poking around online, that we could put something like a free PDF or something that will solve their problem, get them a little results in advance, and now you have their information, and you can, maybe do a once a month newsletter, or just continue to nurture them and, stay on the top of mind. Because, normally if a business doesn't have some kind of, pipeline or some kind of predictability there, it makes it really hard and expensive to compete on buying customers, if that makes any sense. It's a lot easier if you have a $100 product and then you're just buying customers all day long, or e-commerce. But if you have consulting or something that needs, a little bit more of a deeper sales pipeline, we kind of help people figure that out and get the leads as a low of a cost as possible.
All right. So what got you into doing marketing and lead gen and this whole business? How did you get started?
I think anybody else, it's it's a random but not random.
Okay.
I think we're all kind of put in a position to do what we do for a reason. But it was coming out of college a long time ago, started a business, kind of got into social media, learning how to use YouTube in 2008, 2007, Twitter, these platforms. And we're just a bunch of young kids out of college trying to get into the real estate business. And you had the gray hairs, as I would call them then. Now I got some gray hairs myself. But they're always asking these kids, or we're kids to them, what are you doing? We're just we're making videos and put it on my YouTube and stuff. So that's where I kind of got into the digital world. And my dad was always in computers. And so I had a general interest. But, I just, probably being a big introvert, I was always intimidated by sales.
Mm.
And so I got my first sales job out of college because I couldn't get a job in 2008. Um, I had a finance degree, and then I took the only company that would hire me. And then the first day, they're like, they kind of kick you in the door. They're like, okay, now it's your turn. I'm like, oh, like panicking, like, trying to sell T1 lines, high speed internet to small businesses. And eventually I got over that and just learned like selling, and it took a long time, but selling a service, I'm no different than a plumber or any other, tradesperson. Selling is serving people and standing in the shoes of your prospects or your ideal prospects and understanding what life is like and trying to meet those pain points. There's a lot of different people, and there's like that aggressive, sales push. I don't think a lot of people, that's a way to do it. I think it's much easier to kind of court people on their terms and provide value and just draw them in to where they're attracted, to that company or brand. So it's just a natural progression. And then we kind of got into like doing everything for everyone. Like we'll do product launches and, these book launches for best-selling authors and like all these different things. And it was extremely exhausting trying to like do all that. And so we slowly honed in on like, what's the first biggest problem everybody has? They need leads. You can't get sales without leads. They need leads, and they need an irresistible offer to get those leads. If you don't have an irresistible offer that somebody sees online, they're scrolling late at night on their phone. Yes, even if it's B2B, you still have that person, that is scrolling late at night, and they get a slap you in the face, offer of like, here's 5 ways to solve your problem. Like, I gotta get this because if I scroll past it, I'm never gonna see it again. And so we try to create a irresistible offer, as we like to call it, for that brand as an entry point to what they do.
So irresistible offer. So like most of the people here, are either small business or small business adjacent, even working for cities and villages, and we all need leads. Like no one is, oh, I've got too many leads. What are the components of an irresistible offer that catches people, especially if they're cold to you and they don't know you at all? What are some sort of things you found are those keys to a irresistible offer?
It's usually more, maybe we could do like an example
Sure.
of like somebody here that wants to create an irresistible offer, and we can like talk it out like a real example.
Okay, here's a perfect opportunity for you. Who needs a irresistible offer, or just no, because yes. So you raise your hand. You're okay. Thank you. She's like pointing like no, you need it. Yeah, you need it. Like okay. So what questions would you ask, and then she can give an example. So
can you tell us about your business?
Yes, it's a walk-in art studio. We don't need a reservation. We're open. An appointment. Just come on in and create. Each visit is like a little mini art class. You don't have to have an experience to come in. We also do a lot of birthday parties, ladies' nights out, group events, corporate team building.
Okay, awesome. And what do? They come out and like they paint
Yeah,
or?
they come in, they pick over 500 pieces of pottery or you can glass fusing, pick up your piece, sit down. It's a very, it's an experience. And so you sit and create, and then you leave your piece with us, we fire it in one of our kilns, and then you
Cool.
come back a week later.
Cool. What do you charge for something like that if somebody comes out?
I would say the average is about 45 to 55 per person.
And then that's, they come out and they spend a couple hours with you.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And then out of those, you named a couple of groups of you have corporate, so these ideal avatars or, segments of your client base. What would you say if you were going to pick one that's going to be probably the most profitable? Children's birthday parties. Okay, so then you would be selling to the parents, right, of those children, and what are their average, just maybe an age group, age range?
We probably have almost 7-year-old parties
Se- 7 to 10-year-olds. And then what is the age of their parents on average?
Would that be like 32 to 40-ish?
32 to 40. And then are they, how far out are they planning the parties? If it's the dad, then it's next day.
And some are like, can you do this on Saturday? I would say ideally though, you like 3 weeks out.
3 weeks out. Okay. So, you have a little bit of an easier, thing because it's probably like you see it, you're like, oh, if somebody saw it on a Groupon or something like that, it'd be like, oh, that's a deal, give them a discount, so forth. So, as far as an irresistible offer, it would look like, is this something that they're going to see it and buy it like an impulse buy, which I would, maybe not. Maybe they need a phone call or two. But in that case, like if you put me in a position and you're like, sell this thing, I would just identify the age group and say, I would probably run a Facebook or Instagram ad because you're probably going to be targeting probably mostly women, I'm assuming, that are doing the planning for those parties. They're going to mostly probably be in that age group on Instagram or TikTok, but I don't do TikTok. And you'd probably just even run an ad with, it could be like, book your, children's birthday party and, get, 15% off. Like that in that case, with like a really compelling ad would be an irresistible offer. Somebody would see it and like buy it on the spot. Otherwise, you could have some kind of free giveaway, free opt-in or free discount code that talks about the benefits of what you do, like the experience, and they can opt in and get like a simple PDF or something like that. So they're scrolling and maybe they're not ready right now to plan that, but looking at what would get them to, like in that research process, opt in and say, let me add this to the mix of the things that I'm considering. So free PDF, free video. Hey, watch here, and I'm going to show you like behind the scenes of our, of a birthday party.
So what you do, you don't have to always give something away or give a discount. That thing could be a video, the link, is what you're saying. Because we don't ever offer coupons or discounts, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just kind of been a part of our brand. We try to give the best price all the time while still staying in business.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't play that game.
Sure.
So I've shied away from it, that any sort of marketing that dealt with giveaways or discounts. So, but you mentioned something, it would be a link to a video.
Definitely.
That would be
Definitely. And I would try to capture as many people's, like, I think what would work there is a video ad, that is less than 60 seconds. It's either square or vertical kind of reel format, right? Like the, story format. What's the dimensions? That's like 16:9. And Leah could probably even comment because she's the creative in our office and doing that. But a less than 60-second hype reel, and you can run for $5 a day. You can run an ad, to all of the Milwaukee area, and just cast a wide net, get them to click to like a simple landing page, and give them something to get their information, or a consult, or get this free giveaway. 5 benefits why this is going to be the most memorable party of your child's life.
I have an idea. Just throwing it out
Sure.
there. Is how about like 5 quick steps to hold an awesome birthday party for your child? Because I think that's where people struggle. Because that's like, then you are like, oh my God, it's just 5 steps and I can get to this. Or 5
Oh,
weeks.
you're my target parent, right?
I only have 7.5-year-old. Because I'm a business owner, I'm thinking about it. I might be the parent that makes that decision like for next Saturday. But just thinking about like how in their busy time, either to like how to make a decision on what to do, or very like 3 steps to make an awesome birthday for your 7-year-old or something like that. I think that would be really awesome.
That is for everybody. That's a fantastic idea. And when you take those steps, right? And let's say there's 3 steps there. And you know these 3 steps in your mind because this is your actual unique formula, your unique model to creating these great experiences and charging your premium prices. So this is the way you sell anything to anybody, is like you list out those 3 steps, and those 3 steps are contained within what you sell. So you're going to say, hey, these are the 3 things you must consider for an amazing party. And you could go figure it out on your own and go Google everything in Milwaukee, or we've got something that can support you here that naturally contains these 3 steps. So that's a really good idea as far as putting together those lead magnets. And that's really how you sell anything. I mean, you know, we could do 100 examples to, you know, anyone.
That's awesome. So, all right. So I understand that process. Okay, I got to do those things. Like for you, if I want to engage with you, what types of businesses generally tend to engage, and what's like a budget, or you know, what does it cost for, and what kind of return on investment can I get from working with someone like you?
Well, there's a lot of different factors. The things that we, you know, thrive most is for like personal brands that are investing in building a massive email list because they know what to do with those emails, how to move them to action. And so, but even local businesses we work with, they're going to have, you know, 20,000 people on an email list. And so we get in a rhythm of, you know, not doing too many frequent sales, because if it's always on, you know, sale, people start to devalue it. But it really just depends. Number one, do you need leads? And the lead cost is going to depend. For a personal brand, like an author, a podcast host, you know, you've seen them all online. You could get as inexpensive leads as $1. For a business like yours, I would imagine, because you have these different constraints, which is, you know, you have a radius that you can really serve and a very specific audience, your lead cost will be higher, but it's going to be, you know, probably a better quality lead. So you could be paying, who knows, $5 a lead for something like that. You're in the web business, you probably have a much more competitive space. You might be paying $50 a lead or $20 a lead, but you also can go wider. Now you also have a lot of competition for bigger brands that you're, you know, really competing against for that attention. So I think I think it's really effective right now. If anybody does phone sales or has a phone sales team, that going from like a free PDF to like booking a call, that tends to be a very effective process. And you can get anywhere from $7 to $20 leads, and then, you know, $100 phone calls. And then it's playing that game of, okay, well, what's my cost per lead? How many of those people do I need to convert to a phone call? Like either selling directly the thing within, you know, them seeing it and buying it, or having kind of like a phone process on the next step, that is usually the most effective.
So if I was budgeting, let's just say $500 a month, is that like not enough because you're not going to really move the needle? Do I need 5,000 a month? Like what? Because I know a lot of us, like if you go to work with a marketing firm, it sounds great, but what do I budget for it? Because you want to do the minimum amount to get the best result, and you can always invest in it because like that's what performance marketing is.
Mm-hmm.
What's like a budget that I should set if I want to do? Let's say I need to. Is it by how much money I want to generate? Like how do I know how much to invest?
It's a incredibly complex question. So you're putting me on the spot because there's so many different factors. Because you're going to factor in your industry and what it is you sell. And so I'll give some real examples. So we work with a financial management firm. They do retirement, you know, readiness and planning and financial management. And, you know, their lead cost is going to be higher. It's going to be $10 to, you know, or more per lead. And they're well prepared because they know what their clients are worth. A client could be worth a lot of money over the lifetime for them.
So like how many would they want? So at $10 a lead, how many leads would they want a month?
How many leads is, you know, I'm typically recommending that a client like that is starting at $30 a day on lead generation.
So like 1,000 a month basically is what they're spending.
1,000 a
on lead.
month.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
To 2,000 a month. Because we have another client that is also in financial management, and their lead cost is coming in higher at 15, and we started at $30 a day, and it really kind of strangles the campaign by the budget. And so you actually, the tricky thing is you're paying more money by spending less for leads, because Facebook and Instagram, they're going to favor the bigger spenders and give them better placements. And so it's kind of like you have to be very strategic when you enter the space. So what I recommend small businesses, if you have less than a $2,000 budget, do not hire an agency. Spend budget $500 a month and build a very simple Facebook and Instagram lead form campaign. What that is it's this technology that when you click the ad, it puts a pop-up on Facebook or Instagram, and it pre-populates your information. It says download this PDF and click submit, and then you've got the lead and they've never left Facebook. And what I would recommend doing is actually don't go and competing with the sharks. Don't go compete with the people that are spending $5,000, $10,000 a day, because you're competing with the global, market. If you get into, running ads, you're competing against me and running for ads for my local clients that I'm going to be spending $300 a day on their holiday campaigns, right? Not like I'm trying to compete hard against you. You're just entering into that space of people spending lots of money. So a very simple PDF, back to that point. What could be one pain point, one problem I could solve for my leads? And let's run that as a free giveaway and try to get the lowest cost leads, and then run it at a budget that you can say, cool, if we get a couple leads per month, we're good. Let's let it run. Let's let it learn. Let's let it train Facebook to be an employee of our company and go find people. Because once you start training the algorithm, the better it gets, the better it gets. And it just starts working out to your advantage. But if you start tinkering and be like, and then you start obsessing over it, you're going to lose, because it's going to be stressful. And you just got to say, let me spend for 6 months, $500 a month. Let's get leads. Let's follow up with them. Let's create conversations. And I think that will put people in a good place and see where your lead cost comes in at.
All right.
For the $500 a month, what are you spending money on? I mean, does it include copywriting, graphics, strategic planning, buying time? What is in that investment that you're talking about?
That would be for us, that would be the money you pay directly to Facebook and Instagram or Meta. And you pay based on the objective that you choose. So if you chose, like, I'm gonna set up this Facebook lead form, you're gonna automatically have a lead objective. At $500, what would that be daily? That would be
Like
$15 a day. So you would set a daily budget and say, go find me leads. Here's my image I want to use. And we just do really simple, we create a 3D graphic of like a PDF. 5 tips to do this. I know you've all seen these ads online because they work.
And a tweet,
So the person would already have a logo and brand type thing, and so you would help them create content to be posted on Facebook, whether it's the PDF or the whatever you mean, whatever you create, and that's part of the investment.
As a company, yes, that's what we do, is we focus on helping them build that offer and kind of understand what is it going to be. And then we would run it for them. But a lot of the stuff that we do is actually, like, I shouldn't say this, right? It's not what you say, like, but it's actually not really hard to do. And Yeah, it's like one image and one piece of text, a couple headlines, 5 tips to, do blank. It's actually a very simple, thing. And then you would set it, and then it averages out over the course of a day. It will say, hey, your lead cost is so and so. Those leads go right into Facebook, and you can download them, and then you could create systems that they go into your CRM and stuff like that. But that's what we would start with, and then you just kind of set it and forget it and check in once per week.
So the minimum, like with you, $2,000 is, if I want to hire your company, $2,000 a month is what I should really budget to work with you.
If you want to spend on ads, it's not worth it to hire us at like $500 a month. If you're like, my business is in a place that we can sustain advertising and buying leads at $1,000, $2,000 a month, then it might be worth it to invest it and then start building that pipeline and then saying, okay, now what do we do with these leads from here? How do we then better our processes? And then we can really help on those areas.
So your average client spends about what with you a month? What would you say? In total, including the ads and your services, that blended rate?
Yeah, probably about $3,000 to $5,000 per month.
Okay, got it. Okay. And so if you're under $2,000 a month, if that's your budget is just for lead gen, do it on your own, learn, get involved. How much time do you think you're spending on this if you're doing it on your own?
Here's the truth. If you do it once right, like you can run ads and you launch it once and you don't have to touch it. If you do it well. That's the thing is like, just from my experience, like a lot of these advertising agencies, you're going to have inexperienced young people that are learning on your business. For me, I could see most people's businesses and create like an offer. Like you don't have to be like incredibly sharp and create 1,000 images. And that's where you get raked over the coals with agencies. Oh, we want to test this. Dude, you don't need to test. I mean, this is the truth. Are we being recorded?
Yes, we are, but we can edit this. We will edit it out for you.
We spend so much time on the front end crafting the offer. I can run an ad and not touch it for a year. And it's just going to work and get better week over week. And it just runs. And a business is going to be like, oh, we got to test it. Your budget's not high enough to test. Because if you are spending, we got one client. She is in the nutrition space. And she teaches practitioners how to do functional medicine added to their practice. And right now we're getting, and for the past several months, practitioners, doctors, we're getting dollar leads for doctors, across the country. It's incredible, and we don't have to touch it. And it's like, there's this like desire to want to test it. But here's the thing, at $25 a day, on one ad, on one piece of creative, the beautiful thing is all of a sudden you get all of these comments and you have 500 likes on this post, on this ad. It's more than an ad. It's a discussion piece. Now, when you test a new piece of creative against that, it's not a fair split test to have all this social proof and then nothing over here. Of course, it's going to do worse, when it starts. Now, if I add in a second image, say, I want to split test it against this first one, Facebook, I could put it in there, and Facebook will not spend any money on that new ad because it's already chosen its winner. I have to shut off the original ad or increase the budget significantly to allow it to distribute the budget between the ads. So what's that? It's a business, and what Facebook wants is to say, trust us. Just give us your money, and we'll mix it and put it in this giant blender and show it to people the way that they want to see it, whether they're watching the reels, right? Because if you're doing an ad, you have to either, do I do a reel ad? Like the long form. Some people, all they do is just scroll and watch reels. Who's a real person that likes reels? Okay, all right, a couple of us. Now, who's a Facebook feed person where you just kind of scroll and look at Facebook feeds, friends, family, or Instagram? You do a little bit of both. So there's like different behaviors that people get into, and then some people will just look at stories. And so Facebook wants to optimize based on how they interact and use the platforms. So hopefully that
Oh,
that
that's
helps.
perfect. That's really good. Now, if you guys have questions, please raise your hands because we have a couple more questions for him, and then we will let him go. So if you have questions about your particular business, please.
For particular members or just an overall, because it is about performance marketing and who just directly went to social media marketing. Are you saying, did you get into that because at this time and age, that is where you're going to get the most ROI, or based on the industry, there's still an existence of email marketing to get those leads that can convert into your clients?
What I've found is, number one, I'm old enough that I don't have to care about TikTok. So I'll put that out there. Like, we got our winners, like, Facebook, Instagram, and yes, we'll test stuff, but I don't care enough about it. I think businesses need to really kind of focus on, like the fundamentals, and that's like Facebook, Instagram, and for a lot of local businesses, that's going to be a little bit of Google. You might have some benefit doing some Google ads. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is it just works. And when I say works, I've just been doing the boring stuff for 15 years. Lead, webinar, landing page, get the email, move them to the thing, right? That's the thing. Like TikTok and like all these different things, they change, and yes, they work. You have to like stay up on these trends. The fundamentals don't change. Give somebody something of value, get some information, get a lead, and then move them along in the pipeline. And that's stuff that you can delegate. So for example, we'll run the ad, and now the CEO is like, they'll have their teams follow up with all leads. And it just tends to work on Facebook and Instagram. Google is just, it's like a case-by-case basis whether we can use it with a client or not, because how Google works, it's very search-oriented. Facebook is every client, they're like, my people are not on Facebook. They're on Facebook. Whether they're a teacher with a fake profile so their students don't find them, or something, they're on Facebook. And I know because I see the leads, and they have their fake profiles, and then they opt in. We ran a campaign just for teachers, and school professionals, for somebody that sells to schools. So we just find the widest base, and the most attention is on Facebook and Instagram, which is why we choose it. And the platform is just most friendly to that kind of behavior of, ooh, see it, get it, opt in. Or I also, run a pet business. So I manufacture natural products for dogs. And what we do is literally solely run ads on Facebook and Instagram, where it's see it, like it, buy it. And, you can do it on TikTok. I've tried those same ads. It's way more expensive for me. It's just not worth the return. Now, it's not to say your business would probably crush on TikTok, and doing some of that stuff. So I don't want my things to influence everybody to say, we got to do it this way. If you're a local business, you probably have a little bit of benefit of doing some Google ads.
What would you suggest for downtown Phoenixville and me personally? Like, I'm trying to sell people on coming to a free event. So the whole lead generation thing, like, we do gather email addresses, and I send a monthly email newsletter to people. But how do I take it from just awareness out on Facebook and Instagram to actually getting people to show up? Is there anything more to that?
I love it because I do a lot of event-based marketing. Okay. We've even done some for Ward 4. Mm-hmm. The tricky thing is, like, I would spend maybe $5 a day on like a Facebook event and expect everybody that replies to the Facebook event that they will come.
Okay. And we do that. We don't spend $5 a day. We spend quite a bit less than that.
Oh,
Would you say the optimal amount is more?
No, I'd say like if I were doing an event and we wanted to fill this room for something like this, right? But like a free event, I would say let's put $100 into just getting awareness to an event, and maybe let's just throw that away and say you're just throwing $100 down the trash. Let's just be honest, because you don't. It's just such a less valuable objective to get somebody as an event response on Facebook versus a lead. Then I would put,
What do you do with the leads though in a case like that, where you're just asking somebody to come to a free event?
I would do what you're doing is put them on a newsletter, and then I would ask you a bunch of questions like, how are you generating revenue from this thing? And then, devise a strategy on how to move more of those people down the pipeline. But events are awesome because it's much easier to get a lead. So we'll like do a lot of webinars nowadays, but we used to do a lot of in person. And then I would do and then another campaign just for opt-ins, like to a landing page, or if you use Eventbrite, there's like an integration there. And I'd say, what does it cost to get a lead? Then, if you know what it costs to get a lead and a body to your event, now I'm already thinking of ways to monetize it if you're not already monetizing. I say, well, can we bring in sponsors? Somebody pay $1,000, and I'm going to take that 1,000 and then double it down on the event and say, I'm going to grow it, and now put 100 people in the room or 200 people in the room, and then just kind of create a machine from there. But then it becomes really hard if you don't know what does it cost to acquire a lead, and then simultaneously probably only 50% are going to actually show up to the event.
Well, and that's the other thing, I don't know who's seeing my stuff and coming, like I have no way of knowing. There's no connection.
For sure. Which is then why it's like you gotta get the lead. Any other awareness campaigns are so much more difficult because you're just not gonna have any data on did people buy, did people call, or whatever. But if you set that lead objective, you'll at least walk away with that email list, and you'll at least have a list of people that you could have a checklist as they come into the event, like did this person show, and say, cool. We know
We don't, I mean, it's just an event where people show up, we don't check people in, we don't.
No, but we
like,
do
it's
expect
literally-
them to buy food and
Yeah.
beer or free while
But
they're
we don't
there.
know, who from that email list is buying food or beer.
No,
Yeah,
sometimes you do, because if they do it with their credit card, they probably have the
Oh,
same
we could
email
cross
that is on our
reference, yeah.
email
Okay.
list, that's Squarespace,
Yeah.
We could do like a comparison if we ever wanted to dive into that.
But just to add to her same question, which is what I was asking about, was, because most of these events are in a space where there's multiple entry points.
Right.
So there's no hey, we can try and do it here. A biker can come from here, a walker can come from here, they can come from the backyard. So there's nowhere. So is there any, because we have done so many events, is there any kind of like a product or anything that we could do as for marketing where we could track it? We could figure out to get that cost per lead. Like, hey, 500 people liked it, and in reality 25 showed up. Or oh my gosh, 400 showed up. Like, is there anything we can do to tie it in, this irresistible product that we can do?
Yeah, the tracking is actually pretty. It's. I don't think it as often as worth the time to track all these different sources, right? Like, okay, the newsletter's going out. We got this flyer. It's almost impossible to track. I would continue doing all the organic efforts and then put the paid on an island and say, let's measure the results of the paid. And in order to do paid well, you need to be able to track it. And in order to track it, you need either a landing page or something. I say Eventbrite because there's an integration with Facebook where it can just populate and track automatically. But even just
I could send them to our constant contact, send them to a constant contact landing page to put their
Contact information.
Yeah, put their email address in and get on our newsletter.
Yeah.
Right.
Or we could have somebody, it's like, hey, Justin offer on our event page or whatever area it is, or we can have a couple different QR codes. that's like, hey, when you start coming to the event, make sure to check out our octagon. And then they can scan something, and then they get a koozie or a downtown Queensville, so then, but you know, the only way they got this information
Is because they came through that, right?
yes.
But isn't there a compounding growth of awareness with this kind of campaign too? Because I'll like something if I feel personal and wanting to promote it, even though I may not go to it, I'll like it or comment on it. And doesn't that come
makes
into
the
a
algorithm,
category and
right.
then it goes into other people's?
Yes.
100%. So like if you're doing like an event, what I would do is number one, create the event on Facebook, have everybody that's associated with your business and team, invite every single friend. You go down that list and boom, invite them to the event. Okay, organically, like let it marinate a little bit on Facebook for a couple of days, 2-3 days. Once that has passed, then I would run that ad and say, let's just run an ad, put $100 lifetime just for event responses, and then you'll get it. Might not be as, you're just hitting a wider base of people that do that kind of thing. It's so funny, like there's people that, all right, let me ask you a question. Who thinks it's crazy to comment on an ad on Facebook? like comment as your profile as an ad on Facebook. Never. Like I see you shaking your head like that's crazy, right? Some people, they comment on ads. And that's behavior, like it's like you have to look at it and be like, oh, there's people that actually do that. Like they comment and they like stuff on Facebook. You're like holding your face like, I don't it's like it's strange to me, right? It's like behaviors, and I'm an introvert, myself, and so I wouldn't do that, and I don't want people finding my profile in the wild west of the internet.
But I love people doing that.
Yeah, but you love it when it helps the business, and then they share it and do all that, right? So, and that's the interesting thing about objectives is that, and then there's some people all they do is just they like, and they're like, they just engage. They click the little reaction. And then there's others that are just lurkers. And they just read the comments on all of the ads, right? And we'll have people. I have one ad that probably has well over 1,000 comments on it. And these people will go into the comments. I don't know how they find it. And they'll go find that comment from 7 months ago. And then they'll like create like conversations and like, oh, you had this thing to say about the product, and then they'll create a whole discussion, and we're like, we gotta shut this down. This is too crazy. And there's people that do that, like, believe it or not. And you might be one of the people that, and that's okay. So to that point is like there's all different types of behaviors, and when you really start to get into performance marketing, now you're then marketing, like as you're growing to different behaviors and the way people interact with things. But efficiency at the start, you can do just a couple of them.
Okay, I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut people off, but I got so Eddie, you had your hand up, and then what I want to do is I want to respect his time, and then give you his contact information because I do think he is amazing, and this is what he does for a living. You're an entrepreneur.
I'm right down the hall.
Yeah, he's right down the hall. So, and so Eddie, go ahead, ask your question, and then, like I said, then we'll close because we have to take a break, and then we'll go into our next. No, Eddie.
Good to see you again. I said good to see you again.
Likewise. Something small, so I'm just starting all those things. I gave, I'm a little bit anti-Facebook, Instagram, so when you mention those things, I'm the one person who has never done anything on any of those platforms. I created an Instagram, gave it to a college 19-year-old. I'm in retail, clothing. When I walked in, the first thing I looked at, how is everyone dressed? Fashionably, very, it's like, some people need help. So it was like, what would you advise on that little, yes, just small starting, it's like, what would be a few things connected with a few other people who actually have from all the CC local store that has big on that, and a few others, trying to follow them. So we'll want you to advise.
I would probably just focus on organic for a while.
Just, organic videos and just start building those social platforms, leverage the 19-year-old, to get content and just get in a rhythm of posting content consistently on those platforms and trying to grow it organically.
Like videos.
A lot of video, especially for your, industry, video, local video, showing that you are, a local entrepreneur, you have a local presence. I do have a friend, if you go to, who is actually in fashion, streetwear, art, murals. It's livethroughlove.com. And his name is Ruben Rojas. And you could take a look at some of his stuff and just even model some of what he's doing. And we've run ads for him and, seeing how that all works. That might be useful. Just kind of look at some cases of people that you like. But focus on organic and growing your email list naturally first, and then it really helps because if you have a list of buyers, right? I've got 1,000 people that bought, and I got their. Now you can start creating a lookalike audience of buyers on Facebook and Instagram and running ads to them. But it really kind of takes some time to build that up.
Okay. Is it quick?
It is great. Bradley, do you sell any services that would just help me figure out the landing page that wants pushing stuff rather than the whole big production?
We should do a workshop.
Yeah, we do. So that's what we're gonna do. So I think what we'll do is we'll partner. We're gonna have a workshop. I'll let you guys know, and then we'll do that because I think a way to get started and maybe charge some kind of a fee that's reasonable for people to get in. Yeah, we'll offer something. We're gonna figure it out. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Always amazing.
You have such a great group.
Yeah, dude, it's really good. And so give them a round of applause. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And again, Riseable is down the hall from here. So if you do have the $3,000 budget minimum, ideally $5,000, you heard him say that, you can come talk to him. So, all right, man, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys take a break. Go ahead, take your break. 10 minutes. We'll start back in